What's up, everybody? So I'm going to do things a little bit different for my first video for New Comics Day, and I'm actually going to do a double review because both of these books were pretty good, but they kind of they both take place in the middle of arcs, and I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get 10 minutes, let alone 5 minutes a piece out of one of these. So I'm just going to do a double review. Usually these videos never did that well, but I don't feel like they're worth separate videos. Sometimes it happens, so I'm going to do them together. I'm going to try to get Soul the Dragon today. My shop owner didn't order it. So I think I'm going to probably go pick it up tomorrow. I'm going to go to a different comic shop. But both of these are good. I give this one a 4, this one a 3. It's okay. We'll start off with this one. If you remember what happened in Immortal Hulk number 9, it was some really cool stuff where he was getting his powers drained out, which was interesting because he's fighting the Absorbing Man, and he absorbed so much gamma from the Hulk that it actually turned him skinny. And what's really cool with this is, you know, because he had all of his muscle drained out, he has like extra skin hanging all over his body. It's really kind of gross, but interesting. Like the design choices of the art on this are really interesting stuff. You got here like you get this Absorbing Man's like brain and spine are out. Like, look at the design on that. That's seriously something out of like Dark Souls or Silent Hill. The artistic choices that they do with this book are really interesting. And I give it to like Al Ewing, who does a pretty solid job with this book's writing. But like I've said before, he's a blockbuster. And I wonder if he was a little bit cooler to the fans if this book would sell better. I think some of these people just need to get off social media. You know, Al Ewing, I've never met him, but he strikes me as he's kind of a jerk, almost like an Alan Moore type. And people like that just shouldn't be on social media. Could you imagine if Alan Moore was on Twitter? He would be just like a lot of jerks. But I think, you know, who knows how it goes. I don't know how to really get the brass down, but I think social media isn't the place for some of these creators because they just can't keep their mouths shut. The guy can do really good horror, and you can see, like, I don't know where he gets some of these ideas. This is really cool, too. This guy's got this, like, handgun. He's like a Megatron making guns out of his hand. But the whole book is pretty much Hulk and him fighting, trying to steal his gamma back. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I think there's some lore going on here. And let me get to that. So if you don't know where they're at the ground zone where the bomb went off that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. And this is really cool. He got shot in the eye, and his eyes are like blowing out. He's getting shot up. It's not really even doing anything to him. He just keeps on moving. Even with all of that gamma stolen from him, he's still pretty powerful. Even as like a Weight Watchers client who lost 200 pounds in 1 week with all that folding skin, he's still powerful. And they're at the green door, he calls it. It's like it's a door between hell and earth, by the way they're describing it. Now, I don't know if this was ever touched on before. Somebody said that Bruce Banner's dad did a deal with the devil. So it looks like we're going to hell. And you see this really cool scene at the end where like the door opened up and the Hulk's like, yeah, we're in hell. So I thought that was pretty cool. The next issue is gonna probably most likely be a fight between him and his dad. So I give this a solid 4. I really dig this book. Thought this was a really good story. I was gonna give it a 3, but I think it's worth a 4. I like where they're going with it, but like I said, this was like a pace for the trade book. And then we can go to Doomsday Clock. This is really interesting because this is like this is actually like 2 good books from both companies, which you don't get to see often. This one I'm going to give a 4 to because this one, here's what's interesting about Doomsday Clock. Doomsday Clock has a ton of politics in it, but they actually handle it so much better than stupid Marvel, who like wants to beat you over the head with their political hammers. And they even like bring Russia in. You see like they got Putin here. And the biggest thing that happens in this book is Firestorm is turning people into glass. You get some really cool scenes with Black Adam too. My favorite was him sitting on his throne here like a boss. But he's basically trying to turn his country into a Genosha. That's what's going on there. And we see like Firestorm's being manipulated, and they kind of hint that John is manipulating, just like this cover, them like I don't know if it's John or Ozzy Madness that's manipulating things like a puppet. It's tough to say because they're really following. It's almost like they've got like a formula sheet for what makes a Watchmen book, and Jeff Johns is really doing a good job. So basically, Russia feels like they're being attacked, and they feel like Firestorm was sent by America. Superman shows up and tries to kind of be the voice of reason, and we're not really sure. We're not really sure what's going on there. But what is really interesting is Superman pretty much like starts a fire with his foolishness. And we get a really cool scene between Batman and him arguing. Like Batman kind of takes over a transmitter and tries to start talking to him. And, you know, you get that, it's almost like the liberal versus the conservative. And they're arguing politically, like he's telling it, don't pick a side, keep your mouth shut. And he's there, you know, saying like, look, I think the way you're treating metahumans is wrong. You can't treat people like that. And this ends up starting a huge, like, mistaken fight. Superman, like, so Firestorm turned all these people to glass and he can turn them back. And Superman's trying to tell them, let him do it. But they end up like fighting and they blow them all over the place. And Superman ended up like trying to save them. But it looks like he's starting a war. Because you're going to like, even though, so I should do a video on this too. Superman doesn't represent America anymore. He's a figure for the world. And he ends up starting a fight. Like you see him knock this plane, like this, you see him knock this tank over. And that wasn't the best idea for him to do that. It ended up starting a huge fight. And you see it right here, like it ends up making a bomb go off. And the way they do this, I don't know if this is him turning everyone in the area to glass, or if this is John's blast or a nuclear explosion. They don't say. It ends right here on a cliffhanger, which was really cool. And then we get these newspaper clippings, Metahuman Massacre, Superman takes a stand for the wrong side, Superman missing, which was really cool. I'm wondering where they're going to take this book. We've got a couple more left, 8 of 12. By the way Jeff Johns is writing this, I think we might get the conclusion by summer. It's tough to say. But so far, so good. Anyway, putting this up on the main channel. Make sure you go over to my second channel, link in the description. Putting like just about everything over there now. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell here and over there. Follow me over on Stream Me. And check out my Patreon. And I'll see you guys on the next one.